Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Postmatch. Liverpool 1, PSG 0. I don't know what the French version is, Serzi, but it feels like we should be dialing 911 or whatever the French equivalent is because literally had no business winning that game. Yeah, Spencer says the same thing. That's right. That is just pure robbery. And I know we will be furious if this happened to us. Somebody in one of the WhatsApp chats and actually said this reminds them of the Champions League final with Real, where Courtois stood on his head, and then they got one goal. They had no business. We had no business losing that, and we know how furious we were. But we weren't nervous going into this. But god damn, we got punished for that for 90 minutes, didn't we?
I, if you pretty much, I wasn't nervous. I don't know why. This game just.
There's something wrong with you. Are the did you increase the medication doses or something?
No,
There's something wrong, dude.
It must be Ramadan. Like it's keeping me humble. I don't know. I had no feelings about this game whatsoever. I just saw it as a first half game like the Spurs game, and even if you look on Discord, like I really wasn't worried at all. It's just I even said it's going to be a smash and grab win, and as much as everyone's like, oh yeah, we played crap. We literally took the best shots. We took everything they had to give, and we stole from their own backyard. And we're going back to Anfield, and that's it. It's going to be a different type of game. Hopefully, coming off the back of a win with Southampton, and this is Paris. Just PSG is just going to be like, I think after Anfield, I think I can see them being deflated like Barcelona were when we beat them 4-0. Like they literally gave us everything, and we just took it, and we stole a win. Or it's like we're stealing a win. Like this is what happens in some games. Like we just took your best shots. We had the best goalkeeper. We had the best goalkeeper in the world. We earned every single penny of his salary.
I think that was proven today, right? If there was a debate on that, I know what you mean in terms of taking their best shot, but I don't know about us taking their best shot. It was almost like Ali took their best shots. It's not like we defend. Like when we gave the ball to City, they couldn't do jack with it. Like they couldn't, threaten like Ali. They couldn't threaten the goal, and it was a lot more comfortable, even though we didn't have the ball and stuff. This is a different ball game where they had the chances, and it was like really Ali who saves the day. And this has to be a clip. John is watching, so you want to clip this. But this is probably the best defensive performance I have seen out of Trent. Honestly, in the back line, before we went into the game, we were worried about Trent and Robertson, and I would argue they were probably two of the best on the pitch from like the starters.
Yeah, because we thought that Costas was going to come on, but I think
I almost
assistant coach. Yeah, I think the assistant coach was just getting Stimicus to order Uber Eats and telling him what he wanted.
Do you want sauce on the side or on top? Like,
yeah, but that was cross-eyed and it was actually took to Harvey Elliott.
Didn't that look like we even joked about it on Discord? It looked like he was showing something to Costas. Yeah. And look, Elliot was just like reading it at the same time or something, like taking a peek. Maybe it was the other way around, but it looked like Costas was going to go. And I did not think, he had struggled, but you could kind of tell too, that was partially due to how bad the midfield was. Once Jones came in, Robertson got a lot better because that left hand. Jones was amazing. Is this like basically a win from the bench? Like literally the goal itself, defending wise, what Ando did, what Jones did, every single guy that he picked off the bench and put in the game had like a huge impact in the game, which is, we haven't said that in a while.
Well, it's happened a few times with Slot, and it just proves how this guy has just come from nowhere, looking like Homer Simpson, and it's just like he's won the league, bought no players. Or he was forced to take a player which he doesn't even put on the pitch. He's gone to Paris, taking about 50 shots on goal, and we didn't concede any. And we put on this 22-year-old kid who, can't run, no pace, and ends up scoring a Salah type goal.
Good finish too. It was like a Mo-like finish at the end. I mean, credit to Nunez. We give him a lot of shit. Comes in, does the job, really creates it. I actually thought he was doing a lot of other great things up top in terms of like holding the ball, challenging for the ball and stuff like that. I was worried about his, like pressing and defending. But honestly, from the point he came into the game, that wasn't as much of an issue because we were really sitting far back. We were not, pressing up top at all. So that never came to play. Look, there's going to be games, Kazi, where you're going to play like crap and you just have to be lucky. And we were. But, I mean, to be honest, the game unfolded exactly like how we thought it would, right? They were going to press. They knew they had to come to Anfield with an advantage. So they go at us. And we knew if they come at us, we will have all those spaces behind. But it just felt like from the starting 11, no one in midfield and up top was really up for it to be able to take advantage of those spaces.
Exactly, fella. Listen, for a lot of time, I'm kind of thinking to myself, is this the sequel to One Night in Paris? Like, when someone else just gets fucked in Paris because Liverpool are about to. And then I always thought, though, fella, if you just sometimes you just got to hang in there in games, ain't you? You've got to just hang in. It's not your night. Sometimes it isn't your day, and it's their day. Because, by the way, they're a really good side. That's the best. I thought Bournemouth this year was the best side we played in a while. They're the best side we played this year, and it's not close. Tactically, they're great. They're really good. They're really good one-on-one when they've got the ball. Yeah. They're really good at just beating the man. So, you know what I mean? Like, for example, our forwards tonight were not really good at beating the man. And then you get a chance, and you take it. They played like a team from the 80s. And if they had a few older heads in there, I think they would have took 0-0 and went, sometimes it's not your day, but don't lose this game. Do you know what I mean? Marquinhos is really experienced, but the rest are kind of like, Hakimi's got a bit of experience, you would say. But the rest are kind of young kids, like kind of, you know what I mean, doing it for them.
Hakimi is like a Trent, though, isn't he? Like, he's more interested in going up top and making an impact that way than especially in the 80th minute. He's more worried about, we need the goal as opposed to, we get enough concede over here, kind of a thing.
So sometimes, though, I think sometimes you can just look and go, listen, lad, not your night. It's 0-0. We played this well. We can go to Anfield and get something here, and you can kind of win the game that way. But they went for it, and then Liverpool, I felt like this. I put in the Discord that they'll overcommit here, and we'll have one. I knew we'll have one. I thought Salah squandered the one when he should have passed it to Nunez. It was a bad pass. Really, he should really get the ball through, and then you get one more. Nunez does really well for the goal, and then Elliott's finish is great. It's great. It's low and hard, and we've been saying this, Tim, for the last few weeks on various podcasts, but these squad players are going to have moments in this season. Yep. They're going to have moments. We're going to need them. Like, that's why they're there. We needed them tonight. We needed them.
Yeah, before he went on air, like I was saying, like literally all four that came off the bench made a huge impact. I mean, you saw what Jones did. Jones basically did more good than the rest of the midfield combined. It's probably being unfair to them, at least on the ball. No, he did a lot more good than all three combined because, the way he was able to keep the ball, keep possession. I mean, I was shocked with Gravenberch, this is probably the worst he's played. It looked more like Gravenberch of last year than this year. McAllister, I don't know, like when you have, he almost got overrun. And I think, he didn't have the help. He got overrun, a lot of lost balls. They had his number, like he would turn and he would always somehow turn into danger. Whereas I feel like his strength is more like calm. He is the one that's the calming force usually, and he was not. He kept turning it over. It doesn't help when you get the ball to like Diaz and Mo and stuff like that, and they just give it away like instantly. But Serzi, is this a matter of, I gave him a two answer when somebody asked in Discord, but don't be a Polish prince. But is this them being really good? Is this us being really bad today?
I think it's both.
Polish answer.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it is.
I think it was us being good. It's not. It's just. I think the game plan was going to be similar to City. We just give him the ball and try and catch him. And maybe we gave him too much of the ball, but that's why we pay Alisson to do what he does. So I don't think it was luck. I think it was just Alisson showing why he's the best goalkeeper in the world. And you just knew the amount of shots they had and they weren't going in. It wasn't going to be in a day. Sometimes, like you said, it goes for you and it doesn't go for you. I wasn't panicking once, not before the game or during the game. to me, it just felt like a Tottenham first leg League Cup semi-final game. And the best thing about this is that we have everyone else watch this game. Everyone, apart from Barcelona fans, whatever, not Arsenal fans, they'll watch this game and they looked at Liverpool getting their asses handed to them and still coming away with a 1-0 win. And Arsenal, they won 7-1 yesterday. Whatever, who cares? They literally saw Liverpool get outplayed for the first time this season and still come away with a win. And all that's just shown to everyone else is that you can't beat us.
I think there's a part to still, Tim, for me, right, where both things can be true. They were great. They're really good. They're a really good side. A lot of young players. Like that Vincent in midfield, by the way. What a football player he is.
Dude, we could not get close to the ball. There were times where they were moving the ball and we couldn't press because we were like always behind the action and could not get even close to them to able to win it. Like when we did it against City, where you would suddenly have somebody in the middle, but 4 of them like around it.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that at all. Like, it's one thing to give them. But let me ask you this, Kazi, like between the first half and the second half, even before the subs, I felt there was more of a difference in terms of shape. Because yes, we still gave them possession, but we didn't give them as many clear-cut chances as we did in the first half.
I felt there was a lot of Diaz cheating in the second half a little bit. And what I mean by that is, of course, is just he kept them a bit further up and said to Robbo, unfortunately, Dembele's, you're on your own a little bit with Dembele. Yeah. Because we need to get that ball further. We need an outlet. You need an outlet. The problem was with Diaz, his touch wasn't there tonight, and he didn't play well. He was poor. But so, by the way, so were like 8 of the others. So this is not me just, picking holes in Diaz. There was a lot of them I could call out, really. But I felt like that. And then when the sub came on, that extra Jones is just a great sub now. He's so important. Like, he's so clever. He's just matured into a really good midfield player. That's the difference, I think. And that's the right word to use for Jones. He's just matured really well.
Yeah.
Like, we all knew he had the abilities and we all knew he was talented. We just didn't know if he could string it all together. He's stringing it all together this season. He's been great, really good. But that little change that he does now, gents, where he brings off the winger and brings Jones on to go forward in midfield and kind of go, I can kind of play like a little inverted left winger role with Jones and play him as a midfielder as well and play inside that pocket of space. And then you don't know whether to go or not. So if you're a midfielder, you go, where's he going to be if I make this break from midfield? So what he does, he occupies one of the centre mids because you're like, I don't know whether I can bomb on here and help Dembele out and double up on Robertson because I'm like, I don't know what to do now. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of caught in too much. So it's tactically clever. But again, you get to the stage, though, gents, you're not going to win every game and you're going to play well in every game. But you've got to stay in games. You've got to stay in them. And, like, this is a 2-leg affair. Like, let's get this right. This is a 2-legged game. And that's where I think the experience of Liverpool came in to go, we're happy with 0-0 here, lads. Are you guys happy with 0-0? Do you want to go, guys, going to go back to Anfield with 0-0? Because we'll take that. Do you want to take it? They said no and gambled. And then Liverpool.
And I think that's partially the advantage of Anfield as well. Not as you're playing it there, but I think it always affects. That's why I always like playing away, even after the away goal thing is gone. Because I think it puts that on the other team's head. It's like, hey, like we can't go. Like you could tell, and I'm sure there's a lot of frustration to go with that too. That they knew they were playing a solid game, they deserved it, so they kept pushing it. But honestly, like even in the first half, Serzi, those situations were there. There were at least like 3-4 times where if we connect more than one freaking like 2 passes in a row, they were wide open in the back. I mean, City did the same thing to them. Like I haven't watched a lot of PSG because I'm not a French league fan, but that is how they are in the back. You can tell they're shaky as hell in the back. Anytime we were able to hold on the ball on that end, they are shaky. They're not used to defending. So they are very shaky in the back because, like in their league, they rarely have to sit back and defend and stuff. So those guys are not comfortable back there. We just could not make the impact. But let me ask you this, because I agree with Kazi, that change really changed the game in terms of us being able to hang on to the ball and stuff like that, partially because how well Curtis and Endo did. But the beginning of the second half, that change doesn't come. Is that like basically Slot saying, nope, we didn't do it wrong, we're just not executing it right, and then 50 minutes in saying maybe we are doing it wrong, and then like making the change there? Because like it almost looked like, no, if we wake up we'll do better. Did he just realize that even if we're awake it's not a whole lot better?
No, I think the subs, I think we're seeing a pattern where the subs are planned. And I mean, Jota, like we saw the worst of Jota today, where he just has no pace. And because we were playing so high up the ball, high up our own field, to get him the ball was, it was hard. That's why Nunes coming on made the most sense. But I don't. Scott hasn't, apart from the one change that we saw in the first game of the season, we took ones off. He doesn't really make knee-jerk changes. And I can't remember last time he's made a change at half time. He usually plays out into the 55, 60 minutes and then makes his changes. But, I mean, this isn't the first time he's done it, where the changes have come on and he's changed the whole, spectrum of the game. And it's it's great to see. I think if it was Klopp in charge over Slot, I think maybe I'd be more tense throughout the game, because I think we would have tried to play PSG at their own game and just, went like hell to leather with it. But we kind of just controlled it, albeit, Alisson, just proven why he is the best keeper in the world. But we, every player counts, and, he counted today. Salah played like he was fasting today. Szoboszlai, our whole midfield was just non-existent today, and
I think that was the thing, the midfield, right? Like, I mean, we lost the midfield. We could not move the ball. We could not keep the ball, and
we didn't win any battles or anything. It's just
and it felt like that put pressure on the front three, Kazi, because they tried to keep the ball and they forced it. Like Jota was playing like he's playing U6 soccer, like where he would just take it and go. It almost like they felt like they needed to release the pressure by pushing forward, but with no end in sight. Like we didn't even try to keep the ball. And I know this is a good team, like Tom is saying, and he's right. They haven't lost in 22 games, while a lot of them are in the French league, a lot of them are in the Champions League and stuff like that too. So this is a really, really good team. But I think a lot of it is we were nowhere near where we normally would be.
No, listen, Liverpool were poor, but sometimes, again, the one positive I would say about this side, I think sometimes they realise it's not their day. I think they're very good at realising it's not our day, and sometimes that's a sign of good teams. By the way, with the click early going, this isn't for us today. We have to just dig this out and stick in, and basically playoff scraps. There's just playoff scraps here, and what we can get if it's set pieces and corners and breakaways and stuff. I say this all the time, gents. Right? I've seen Man United performances like that for the last 25 years.
Yeah,
under Ferguson, loads of them like that.
Like, how the hell did they win that?
Like loads, and then as soon as Liverpool do it, you're like, listen, just enjoy the win, lads. We went to a really, really hard place and won the game. We got a clean sheet. It doesn't matter how you get them as long as you do it. And by the way, and I really want to speak on Harvey Elliott, right? Because I think he's important. He hasn't had the minutes. We know he hasn't. He hasn't played as much as that we would like, especially, right? He hasn't kicked up a fuss. No stupid cryptic shite on social media, right? Just put his head down. When there was the rumours in January, he went, no, I'm staying here. I don't have no, I'll fight for my place and I'll fight for him. Proper professional. And he's come on there and got a massive moment in the Champions League for Liverpool and scored a massive winner against a really great side away from home. And I'm so happy for the kid, because sometimes if you work hard in life, you get those little just rewards when it's not going your way, and the kid's got his just rewards. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What that performance around me, gents, was the last time that we were in that damn ground. What happened last time? Oh yeah, it was Real Madrid in the final. We battered them. The keeper has a worldie, and they go down the other end and score and win the fucking trophy.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Somebody mentioned in the WhatsApp that it was like almost like a reverse where Courtois stood on his head, kind of like Ali did today. Exactly. And you're gonna have these games like some people are already like losing their minds as always, as they always do when things don't go well. But you are not going to play great every game. This team just played like 2-3 back-to-back really solid games, and you are going to have a dud here and there. I think that's when it goes back to, like you were comparing earlier with like the Klopp era, Serzi. There's a moment in the second half where we did a counter, and I think like a horrible pass up top breaks it. And we're totally outnumbered. It was only the back four, and I think Gravenberg in the back.
We only got caught like that once.
Yeah, as like
he was like that.
He was not pressured like Dembele like dwelled on the ball or something. But yeah, they're like everybody's coming back slowly. But honestly, like that was one of those moments I had flashbacks, because I think in the Klopp era we would probably go for the counter a lot more harder, and you would have a lot more of those moments. And that's what PSG lives for, is those moments, because they have those guys like Kazi was saying, where they can beat you 1v1. Like every single guy they have, they can create their own shots and like beat you 1v1. I felt like, because as much as we were panicking on Discord, like what the hell is going on? We're barely hanging on and stuff. When you look at the pitch, while you weren't, you gotta check your medication. You're gonna overdose on that shit, because I don't know how you were nervous. But as much as we were maybe panicking, you look at on the pitch, and they didn't look rattled. Like normally Van Dijk would be screaming left and right, this guy yelling there, people pointing to each other. They did not look rattled, even though we were kind of like under pressure.
Yeah, and it's like to Kaz's point, like we have experienced players there that mature enough to, like I said, some games they just go for you. And it's like when we played Madrid in that final, it's like we did everything but score, everything. And this is what it felt. The PSG fans know what it feels like that day, like to be a Liverpool fan. Like, but we just had that. Like Van Dijk just didn't look frazzled. I mean, he got that yellow card, and it's not his one. I think it was a stupid yellow to get. I don't understand why he got that yellow, but we didn't look frazzled at all.
Ball around like 3 times, to be fair. Let's take that goal kick. That thing took like 30 seconds. He was like, let me pull it a bit more left, a bit more right.
But our defense didn't look frazzled. Like Trent didn't look, like
if
when
Trent played defense like that, I would never talk shit. Yeah. Like that was the best I've seen him play.
How many times did Doku like outdo him against the Man City game? No, I don't care. Trent had a poor game that day.
Yeah,
he had an excellent game today. And despite all, they had 27 shots or whatever. That wasn't our defense's fault. That was because the defense had no protection in front of them.
Yeah,
I
agree.
It was just like say it's a typical European game, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I know it just seemed like we won this. We were gonna win this game, no matter what. I just felt like it was like guaranteed we were gonna win this game. Just I don't know what it was.
I'll have what you're having, man. That's all I gotta say. I'll have what you're having.
Like the amount of shots that team had, and they played like the Klopp's immature Liverpool when we had going all the way to that Champions League final when we lost the first time. It was just everything was just pace, and there was no control, and that's what this PSG team feels like. And I don't know if maybe I'm wrong. I think Enrique was in charge of that Barcelona team, right? When they lost 4-0 to us.
No. What the hell was the dude's name? But no, it wasn't Enrique. No.
All right. But yeah, that's what PSG remind me of right now. There's quality players throughout that team, but no. Just they don't have that maturity, and maybe because they're in the French league and they're winning that league constantly. Today, just felt like they came up against good opposition and they gave it everything they could, but they just didn't have that mental edge to over the and maybe should have taken a draw. To be honest, a draw or a 1-0 loss would have been good for us.
I think that's where you see that at the end of the game. I think like that maturity in terms of like kind of reverse of us. We're like, hey, this is not going well. Let's take the 0-0 and get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
where you have that maturity to do that and not panic or anything like that. Whereas with them, I think they didn't have the maturity to say, hey, we got to go for it, but we can't concede here either. Like, we got these guys. Because honestly, if they came, I know like Anfield is going to be a whole different ball game. And the second game with the adjustments is going to be a whole different ball game. I don't think we've ever seen some of these guys play as poorly as they did. Like, I think this is the worst we've seen out of this midfield. Like all 3 of them literally on the same day. And obviously, they're related to each other, right? In terms of like the performances. But I mean, to be able to pull out a win, that takes luck, a ridiculously good goalie, but then it does take some maturity and calmness as well. I mean, there is something to be said about that. Trevor says good on both Nunez and Elliott, 2 guys we see probably leaving in the summer. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And I've said this about Nunez, and I mean, it's not like I'm going to suddenly say, like, maybe Nunez is the guy, because we know that, but we said it even in Discord. This game was kind of suitable for him because we were having to play those long balls that we need somebody physical to chase down. But for those guys, along with Jones and Ando, to come in and do the job in a really tense game, that's pretty darn impressive. Saido keeps talking about the defensive midfielder. You got to give this up because we're not playing that anymore. Fabinho would not play. Fabinho would come off the bench instead of Endo. We're just not doing that. That's not how we're playing. We have it. We probably need some depth there. I do agree with him on this though, but like it felt like we were physically beaten up in midfield. But it wasn't like a size thing. It's not like they have a huge. It's not like there's like 3 Joe Lintons running out there. I mean, they were not. It looked like they looked fresher. It looked like they were the team that had the rest as opposed to us.
Yeah, and sometimes like rest goes against us. I mean, when we won the league and we had that 2 weeks off, we came up against Watford and we lost 3-0, and it's like we just didn't look fresh. Like sometimes it's that mental momentum that keeps you going, that muscle memory. Because when was the last time we saw this free midfield and Salah perform and Diaz perform badly all at once in the same game? It hasn't happened this season, and it's happened this season. It happened today, and we just play again and play Southampton. I'll play the same team. Maybe put Jones on instead of Szoboszlai. Maybe.
I would not want to be Southampton right now. I mean, seeing Mo and those guys come off like that, I would not. If you're Southampton, you're like, oh, you have got to be kidding me, because you know this team is going to have a reaction to that.
Oh yeah, definitely, and you know, and that's the best thing about it is like we see the other Premier League, like especially Arsenal. They would have watched today's game and thought, wait, they got overrun by this. Like ordinarily, this, like I said, this PSG team probably finished the top 4, top 3 in the Premier League, and we took everything they had and we still came away with all 3 points or with a win.
Yep.
And you know, Southampton must be crapping themselves, and then we've got PSG again next week. Complete different environment. We've got the 12th man. I'm glad. I'm glad we won it like this.
I personally prefer it a bit smoother, but yeah, sure, why not? Mo Hector at the weekend says, Tom, I really feel like, I would not.
He's due one.
I would not want to be that guy. I mean, look, obviously it's not over by any stretch of the imagination, but you would think, going back to what you were saying, it has to be devastating for them to lose like this. Yeah. They will try to use it and say, hey, look, we can have this team. You know, we can dominate them in midfield and stuff like that. But one, it's not as easy to do on Anfield. And two, like going back to what you're saying again, they're never going to play this poorly at the same freaking time. And I mean, to come out from this with a win, though, man. I mean, 0-0, I would go to the next game and be like, hey, you know, we got to do this, we got to do that, but we got to be careful not to concede in the counter or something like that. This totally changes the dynamic of that game. But I do, maybe they shouldn't rest. They should play every goddamn 2-3 days because it did look like we were not awake, and you knew they were going to be up for it. And I was okay with the first 15-20 minutes. You got to soak up the pressure and, you know, calm the game down and stuff. We just could never calm the game down. We could never keep the ball. Yeah. And I think when McAllister has a poor day and then Gravenberg has a poor day, those two controllers that Saido calls them, then there's no control. If your controllers are broken, there is no control. You play FIFA like Anand plays FIFA. You know what I mean? So,
but that's, I mean, and to like Trevor's point, I mean, that's a good thing of having Nunes and Elliott. I mean, it's most probably 90%. Well, I think Nunes is definitely gone. But these players that are on the bench, they're not going to have another chance to win the trophies that they're going to win this season. So, you know, as much as we might need to rely on them, but these are medals that they want to win. You know, I don't think Elliot got the Premier League medal last time. I think we bought him straight after. So, once he leaves, who's going to win the Premier League with? Nunes. Who's going to win Champions League or Premier League with? So, even to these players, they all have something to win, and you know, something to put on the mantelpiece.
Tom says, do you like the away goals rule being taken away? I am personally,
yeah.
because I don't think it has worked. I think instead of the whole point was for the other team not to play as defensively, more open, open game and attacking football and stuff like that. That was the goal, right? Initially,
Right.
that's why they kind of like put it in there. But it just became
Backfired.
a point where the guy who parks the bus and tries to counter is being rewarded even more now because they can squeak like an ugly ass goal and it feels like they did something. I mean, I would take it now because we won 1-0, but like in overall grand scheme of things, I don't know what you think, but it just did not do what it was designed for.
No, the math was just too complicated. It was just no.
You're like, I don't need the goddamn calculator to figure out what's
No,
going on.
it's just play, and whoever wins. Like it was, and like I said, I think it backfired. Like the away team that won the first game, all they did was just did a Mourinho and just put everything but the kitchen sink in goal, and so it just backfired. I think this is a more fair way.
I think so. There's some rule changes that get implemented, and you kind of see what they're trying to do. And it the back pass, we were talking about it last week, I think, the back pass to the goalie and stuff. When they took that away, the old kids here won't remember those days. But yeah, I mean, you could just kill like 45 minutes just passing it back and forth to the goalie back in the day because he could pick it up. Like they implement a rule like that, and you can see it works, and like it speeds up the game and all that kind of stuff. Like I understood what they wanted to do with the rule change. I just never felt like it worked. Now it sucks because we don't get the advantage, but in the overall grand scheme of things, I kind of like it. And I mean, not because I don't like math, but I just felt like you were 2-0 down, right? And then you would come and you have to win 2-0 now. Then the other guy scores a goal. Now you got to score 4. You're like, how did that happen? Like it just did not makes sense. Yeah. What did you think about this one? I mean, I know we were talking in Discord, and some of us watch things with red tinted glasses, but to me, it's not a penalty because I think it looked like it was outside the box, and that's why they were not checking for a penalty.
I don't think it was a penalty.
They were checking for a red card. To me, that's a red card. It's not a pen because I think it's outside.
I don't think it's a red card. We had Alisson in goal. So we are like, oh, Alisson's the guy's not going to score. So no, it's not.
It's like having 3 guys back there. Like, I know normally it counts 1, but when it's Ali, it should count as 3.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everybody's like, like the red tinted glasses were like shoulder to shoulder, and when your shoulder is hitting the other guy's shoulder blade, you're behind them. Now, that's why that's happening basically. So, yeah, I think we were lucky, man. At the end of the day, you have to admit we were lucky. That call offside by his heel. A lot of things went our way in the first half. I think in the first half, we were lucky to come out of that 0-0. Second half was a slightly different story. And obviously, you kind of got a bit more control with the subs and stuff coming in. But, I mean, nowhere near done, right? It's not like you can look back at the second leg. And how do you think this affects PSG? I mean, I would think we would wake up, plus you have Anfield behind you. So the impact it's going to have on us, I think, is a bit more clear-cut than the impact it's going to have on PSG. Do they get demoralized? Do they get actually more hope out of this game, seeing we were on our...
No,
we were kind of
I don't think they have. I think we've squashed any hope they might have had. Because, and the great thing about Anfield is that the reputation precedes itself. So they wanted to get this game over and done with at Paris today. And it's now they know they've got to come back to us. They've got to come back to our stadium. They're 1-0 down. So now, they're facing not only trying to reverse the score, now they're going up against our fans. And hopefully off the back of a Southampton win, which makes us 14 points clear of Arsenal. It's not a good. I don't think it's a good time.
You do need help with math, yes. Now I know why you're saying that.
Oh, was it? What would it be? 11 points clear?
Now I know why you don't like the away rule. Are you saying like United is going to get something away from them?
Because
We're gonna be an even game. I mean, they're still gonna have a game.
Because Arsenal play after us, right?
Yeah.
All right. Assuming all right, before Arsenal play, we're gonna be 14 points clear. So, but even there, I mean, yeah. Either way, I mean, if we come back of a winner from Southampton, that's one less game that we need to play to win. And just I think just the players themselves, just knowing that we didn't perform, we forget coming out of the first game, we didn't even put a key in the ignition today, and we still came out with the win. And PSG are probably like, their attacking force is amazing. Like seriously. Yeah. That player that we missed out on, oh my god, he's freaking. Oh god, I would love to have him. Even Dembele,
I don't know, he's really good and everything, but he would have been a good replacement for like Mo. I find him similar to
I think so.
Mo, where he kind of dives in between three guys at once, and you're like, why? But you can overcrowd him and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, he's a player. I mean, they have a lot of quality out there. I mean, clearly because they were able to dominate.
And they couldn't, and they faced the Salah that was off form, a midfield that was non-existent today, and they couldn't get it. They couldn't get it done. So yeah, no, I think they're disheartened. I think it's a big blow for them. It's the first loss in 22 games, and they've seen the quality of us, and this is how we felt when we played Madrid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it reminds me. That was a great point when somebody mentioned that it did look like signing. Like Spencer says, not even close to being done. And I agree with Tom. I don't think they won't go auto attack, but we've seen today that as they get more desperate, they get even more vulnerable. I really thought they were vulnerable in the first half when they were coming at us.
Yeah.
We just could not capitalize. And you could kind of tell towards the end of the game, they got even more vulnerable in the back. And I think, as they get more desperate, because they will definitely need to score now. If it was at 0-0, you could say, hey, they can play controlled and play it safe. Now they have to score. They won't come out crazy. I agree with Tom in the beginning, I think, but they might get more and more desperate. And I think once you score on them at Anfield on a counter or whatever, it'll be over. I think that's when, that's when the whole experience thing comes in and they're like, damn it. It's more like their experience of being eliminated comes in more than our experience of like constantly winning kind of a deal. But yeah, Wade says, whatever. I mean, yeah, that was, if you were ever in doubt, I guess he just answered all the questions today. That was just like crazy. But yeah, I mean, that'll be it for us today. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. If you're on Facebook, like Tom and Saidi and the gang, give us some love on the YouTube side as well. Go give us a follow. So that you don't miss out on the rest of the other content and stuff like that. But yeah, I think so too. They do. And they have quality. I mean, similar to club teams, I guess. But yeah, I'm shocked. I really am shocked that we got away. I would have been happy talking about the 0-0 win here. To talk about a win has been crazy. But I'll be back tomorrow morning, bright and early, with Daffy in the mug. And then we'll probably we'll see what like Slot and the gang said about this and what the fallout of this whole thing is. And then you boys are back on tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yep.
The quad of bold people will be on air to talk more about it. That one is at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. I'll be first thing in the morning, 9 o'clock Central in the morning. But hey, have a great day. Enjoy the win. I don't even know. Like sometimes you have a win that you go back and watch the highlights over and over again.
I'm not watching highlights.
Yeah, I don't think so. I want to be able to sleep at night. So definitely not tonight. Otherwise, we'll be up all night. It's like a horror movie. You don't watch that shit late. But have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the win. We'll see you guys soon.